Hello and welcome to Marvel Vision, a Marvel Studios TV show podcast brought to you by Cinema Sangha. Oh, I just shook the whole table. Cinema Sangha. My name is Devin Faraci. I'm one of the hosts of the program. Joining me as he traditionally does.
My name is Derek Faraci, and I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. How are you, Devin?
I'm okay. I had a big weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I went to 2 movies yesterday, and I went to the gym today.
Oh.
And I tried out Amazon Locker.
Oh, wow.
Which I know we're not supposed to use Amazon, but I'm sorry. I can't not. So have you used Amazon Locker?
No.
It is great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had to buy a lock for my gym for the locker room, and I got a pretty cheap one. And then I got like some other stuff that I needed to get, and I got offered free delivery between 8 and 11 a.m. And I was like, you know what? This guy, the way this always works is they're going to show up at 7:30. They have done that to me before. So I said, I'm going to try the Amazon Locker so that I can just roll over there whenever I'm ready. And I did, and it was really easy, and it was very simple, and I just had a pretty good experience with it. Normally, I'm home all the time, so I don't mind getting my deliveries here. But that was like, if I'm not going to be home or if I have the delivery window is a little bit early, that's a really great service.
Well, there you go.
And it's in a 7-Eleven.
Oh,
So
this episode brought to you by Amazon Locker.
I saw Minecraft and Warfare this weekend.
Have not seen Warfare.
I'm going to upset everybody at home. I quite like Minecraft.
Did you?
I quite liked it. Yeah. I mean, it's not a great movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid, but it's like knowingly stupid is kind of the thing.
It is knowingly stupid. Yeah.
So it's not badly made like so many of these movies are. Like, there are actual jokes. There's like actual stuff. I mean, some of the dramatic quote unquote stuff is not that good. And I would like to see a version of the movie where the women have something to do.
What's her name from Color Purple? There were points in the movie where it was like, were they like stealing shots of her at the grocery store and then just putting it in the background later? Because she's just saying things that don't connect to what's happening.
But I had a really good time with it. I really enjoyed it. And maybe part of the reason why I enjoyed it is because I was in a theater with kids and the kids were going nuts and the kids were reciting lines. And I thought that was just so thrilling. Like, I thought it was just, I mean, this is the kind of movie like where if you're going to make noise or have your phone on, you know what? I'm not going to complain that much as the Minecraft movie. Like, sure, go ahead. But that was really thrilling. And it was really thrilling when they popped for stuff that I didn't understand. That was really cool too, because all I've wanted is the youth to be into things that I can't understand and that I can shake my fist at. Like, that feels like the natural order of things. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was smart though. I watched that before I watched Warfare. I could not have done this double feature in a different order.
Yeah.
Because as much as everybody was making noise at Minecraft, and I saw both of these in IMAX, by the way. The crowd at Warfare was dead fucking silent. Nobody moved. I mean, it was like nobody. I couldn't hear anybody eating anything. I didn't hear things opening. Like, nothing, because the movie is so when it starts getting going, it is so intense that you just can't. Like, and the whole movie flew by. It came to the end, and I was like, oh, it's over already. I loved it. It's an amazing movie.
Which movie has more yelling?
I mean, maybe Warfare.
Really? Because Jack Black just yells throughout all of Minecraft.
Well, I mean, they spend the entire movie trapped in a house under enemy fire, and things are going very badly. So there's like a lot of yelling and a lot of like yelling on to each other and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what's funny? The Jack Black performance in Minecraft, I didn't mind it because basically that character is canonically crazy. Like, he's gone crazy in Minecraft world.
Okay, sure.
I mean, that seems to be the case to me. He seems like an actual nutbag. And Momoa, I thought, was really good too. And he's playing a Danny McBride character.
Momoa, the thing I found very interesting about the movie, I did not like it. It's a Goonies movie to me, where just everyone's just yelling and things are just noisy constantly. And I did not enjoy that. Not my style. But one thing I really appreciated about Momoa is we're back in a period of action stars who are like, no, I can't get beat up.
Right.
It's not allowed. He does nothing but get beat up throughout the
He
entire.
gets his ass kicked time and again in this movie. Yeah.
And I appreciated that he's like, no, we can goof on my action stardom. I like that.
Also, he does a yeah in this movie,
Yep.
which I believe is making fun of his yeah in Justice League, right? That's basically what's happening here.
I believe he has in his contract that he has to do at least one yeah every movie. That's my theory.
He has a really good line that's taken from a meme that I did not see anybody in my theater respond to. He's gonna get killed, and he goes, wait, let me tell you something. Have you seen that video?
Maybe. I don't think
it's a very popular sound that people use on TikTok and stuff. And the video is a guy who's tied to a chair. It's like a bungee jumping chair. And they keep tipping him over the side. He goes, wait, no, let me tell you something. And he's like begging for his life. It's very fucking funny. And Momoa quotes that in this movie. So,
okay.
But yeah, I had a good time, man. I had a real good time. I cannot recommend Warfare enough. It is very intense.
Yeah.
It is very intense. Like the way that it's shot and stuff, there's a certain point where you're just there. And you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty incredible. And also, I really appreciated the movie had no political statements to make, except the idea that the mission these guys are on is pointless. And so was the war in Iraq.
Okay.
Like, that maybe is like the movie doesn't even say that. Like, it just lets you draw that.
I read an article today that said that this is A24 trying to get the red state crowd.
I mean, it could be, but I don't think it's not against the military or against these guys. It's based on a true story, and the co-writer was there. And the movie ends. Right? He's just co-writer, I think. And the movie ends with like one of those things where it's like side by side pictures of all the different people. I think it's just like, these are people in war. This is what it's like. We're not making any judgments. There's no like character types. There's no arcs. Nobody has like, the guy who becomes a coward or the coward who becomes a hero, or shit just happens. Like, it just happens. And these are just regular guys. So I really, 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 really enjoyed that. I thought it's just incredibly well made. It's unbelievably well made. So,
very nice. Very nice.
And what's his name from Res Dogs is in it? The main kid, in real life, his name is DeFaro. I can't remember his name from Res Dogs.
Okay.
You've seen? Oh, you didn't watch Res Dogs. That's right.
No, I watched some of it. I didn't get into it.
Yeah, that's one of your problematic shows because you think it's too serious.
Yeah, when you're like, oh, this is a comedy, and you have half a joke every episode, that's not a comedy. Just say like, no, this is a half-hour drama. That's fine. That's fine.
I found myself laughing a number of times most episodes of that program.
I did not.
So I love that. The cast is really, really good in Warfare too, and they're more. I kept thinking about Black Hawk Down, and how when you look at that cast now, it's fucking stacked. But like when it came out, nobody knew who any of these guys, half these guys were. This movie has, I think, more up and comers who you already know, but they're not like super famous guys, So it really helps. Also, you can tell them apart, unlike Black Hawk Down. That's one of the hardest movies. Now that I know who those guys are because they became famous, I can tell them apart more. But boy, I remember watching that in theaters. I'm like, who the fuck is talking right now? Like, these guys all look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Also, you should know Cosmo Jarvis from Shogun is in Warfare.
Oh, does he do the voice?
He is great.
Yeah.
He does not do the voice. He is great.
He's got to do the voice.
No, he's doing a very good American accent.
But I want that. I want the Shogun voice.
It's not going to happen. This movie is very serious.
Well, so is Shogun.
Shogun is like a little heightened, and it's a little pulpy. The original novel is like that.
Yeah, but that voice, you can do that in serious.
I don't know. It's you got to go see this. You got to go see it in the theater too for the folks at home, because the sound design is unbelievable. And I think that I don't know that you can get the same experience at home. You're always got dry eye.
No, I'm tired. We do this late my time. I don't know why this is hard for you to understand. We do this at 9 p.m. my time. I've been up since 7. I'm tired
Why'd you get up at 7 on a Sunday?
because I woke up.
Oh, you just like hitting the old man hours now? Like, are you just
Yeah.
waking up earlier and earlier?
Yeah.
Oof, that's tough, buddy.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm tired.
You should drink like an energy drink or something before we go on.
No. I have my Diet Coke. I'm good.
Anyway, so go see it in the theater, because I think when you're at home watching it, you're in a comfortable environment. But when you're in a movie theater, you're not in a comfortable environment necessarily. It's not like your home or whatever. And I think it makes a difference in how you experience it. So,
Well, you're going to have to go quick because Sinners is going to take all the IMAX next week.
yeah, I mean, I was thankful to be able to see both these movies in IMAX. I was
Yeah.
very, very thankful. I'm going to go
I
see
imagine
Sinners.
Minecraft will continue to be in IMAX next week.
Well, they were flipping between Minecraft and
Yeah.
Warfare for IMAX, like
Yeah.
because I was in the same theater for both movies. I'm probably going to see Sinners at the Vista. They're going to have a 70 millimeter Panavision print, one of
nice.
5 that they've made. So I'm going to
Wow.
go try to see it there. Yeah,
Very cool. That'll be
Yeah.
cool.
That
I
would be
watched
cool.
today a 10-minute video of Ryan Coogler explaining the different aspect ratios. and it was pretty interesting, actually. Like one thing that comes very through in this video is just his love of making movies.
Yeah.
You know, but then he's like, this is what this will look like if you go to this kind of theater, and this is what this will look like at this kind of theater. It was pretty interesting.
Did I ever tell the story of the time I gave Ryan Coogler an award at the Los Angeles Film Critics Awards?
I don't know, man.
You're in a bad mood tonight.
No, I mean, we've been doing this a long time. I have no idea. I know you've told me, but I don't know if you've told it on the podcast.
So if I didn't tell on the podcast, I was in LA Film Critics Association, and we did our annual voting, and I tweeted that something like this crowd would make Dr. Yakub proud, or something like that. And Dr. Yakub is a character in like 5%er mythology. He is the scientist who created white people.
Yeah.
And their race of demons. Dr. Yakub rules. But when I met Coogler, after we gave the award, we went backstage and took pictures, and he was like, "My friend showed me your tweet. You know Yakub. You're one of the good ones." Yeah.
There you go.
One of the good ones.
There you go.
Oh man.
You'll be the that Wesley Snipes meme of him crying when he's shooting with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, that's me when I have to shoot Tony Hawk in the race war.
The race war begins, yeah.
Then Tony Hawk replies and says, "I appreciate it."
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I question Tony Hawk quite often, I guess, tweets like, "Oh, I was at this place and somebody said you look like Tony Hawk." It's like, does that happen to him all the time, or is it just something that like happened once or twice and people kept retweeting it? So he's like, "I'll do that like every couple of weeks."
I feel like he was so famous 25 years ago.
Like, I can fully believe it. Oh,
that there
100%.
are people who recognize him, but because he's old now, he doesn't necessarily look like he did, and so people don't like make that adjustment in their heads. Like they just go, "Wow, you look like Tony Hawk." So I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
He did a very sweet Instagram story about how much he wishes Kurt Cobain could have been at the wedding between his son and Kurt's daughter.
That's very nice.
Can you imagine how Tony Hawk's son and Kurt Cobain's daughter got married? That's the ultimate 90s bloodline mingle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's
the path their child will have.
It's wild. It's very strange. You know, I mean, props to them for being two people who never have to work a day in their lives.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, they're set. They're good to go.
So, all right.
Good for them. But
did you go to the movies at all this weekend or this week?
No, I did not. I went yesterday. I went to there's a like a, I don't know what you would call it, like a craft / here's some crap I had in my house place where everyone's got like different little booths set up. And I went there and didn't buy anything. There was a large sheet metal Bigfoot I was thinking about buying, and it's like 4 feet tall, but it was $90. I was like, I don't want to spend $90 on that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
You walked for 4 hours yesterday.
I did. I walked a lot there and then around and back. It was about a little over 11 miles. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Your feet must hurt today. He's coughing.
They do. They do. You'll note that when I was coughing, I muted my mic.
Yeah, I did note that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did note that.
Think about that.
So you're you are in a dark mood today. You're truly in a dark mood. Do we have any?
Who else I saw there though?
Who?
I saw a lot of Grogu Baby Yoda stuff.
Wow.
Of like, not like, oh, I made this painting of Baby Yoda. There's a lot of I made this painting of Elvis. Pay me $60 for it. And it's like, no, what? But a lot of like, stuff you would find at like toy stores or whatever. And it made me wonder, like, oh, has the time of Baby Yoda passed? That everyone's like trying to just sell these things off for like $10-15.
Maybe. I mean, was there any Trump stuff there? Trump merch?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's really interesting. That seems like an easy sell.
There was a guy there who I'm going to say was 6'2".
Yeah.
And I was wearing a Captain America shirt where it's just like the shield. And I'm walking around, I got my headphones on, and then I hear from behind me this guy, hey. So I turn around, and he's like, Captain America. And he puts his hand up for a high five, but he puts it up high. I'm like, my man, that's not going to work out. And also, I don't think Captain America is a rare thing these days. People know Captain America. I don't know why you're so excited.
So funny, man.
He put his hand up high, and I was like, I had to like stretch to reach it. Like, oh, okay. Like,
was this just a tall guy humiliating a short guy? Is that what's happening?
Maybe. I don't know.
He's just a bully?
Possibly.
Man, oh man.
You'd think he'd be like, I'm not going to bully the short old man.
That's the best person to bully because he's probably not going to start a fight, right? That's the thing.
I guess so, yeah. Look at this short old fat man who's all sweaty.
I love the idea of you walking a million miles to go here, and then you just fucking schwitzing as you walk around the aisles of the craft fair. Incredible.
I wasn't that sweaty because it was like the mid 50s and kind of windy out, so I wasn't, I hadn't like sweat through my shirt or anything, so that was nice.
Man, I went to the gym today, and boy, did I sweat.
Yeah.
And I don't like sweating in public. It's like a real problem for me because I feel embarrassed. I feel like it shows that I'm like out of shape, which I know is not the case, but like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So I sweat in public, and I did all these weightlifting machines. And if my body cannot hold itself up during the recording of this podcast, don't be surprised to see me fall because I put too much weight on every one of the machines.
Yeah.
And I was doing chest presses and I did like a bunch of sets with like reps of 6. And I was like fucking dying. And then
did you have a spotter?
No, it's a machine.
You got to have a spotter.
Not on the machines, you don't.
I don't know.
The machine
I literally do not know.
The machine can't kill me. There's no way that it can kill me.
I've seen what's the horror movie from the 80s that's Death Spa, and it's all machines.
They didn't have these kinds of machines though. They're very high-techy machines, although they won't tell you how much weight you're lifting. You have to bend down and look at the fucking weights to see. But otherwise,
yeah, you think like you'd be able to just like punch in a number these days?
I think people like putting the little pin in. I know I do. I like putting the little pin in. It's kind of fun. So I was schwitzing my brains out. So at the gym, it was very empty. And then I go into the locker room to leave, and I decided to use the restroom. And there were more men doing the stinkiest shit you can imagine in that restroom than there were men on the floor of the gym. And there was a line for the fucking toilets, not the urinals, the toilets. And there was a line for it. Everybody wanted to take a big stinky shit at Planet Fitness today.
Well, you got to figure. I mean, this is how it was in Farmington Hills. I imagine in Los Angeles, it's not that. It's more. It's people in really good shape. People in really good shape and they eat like a lot of creatine and like that kind of stuff. And then they go to the gym and they work out, and then the stomach's like, time to get that out. And that's what happens.
Well, I know that my stomach decided after I was done working out, like, okay, you've moved this whole body around, everything has moved down, so we're gonna get rid of it.
Yeah, that's
But
what happens.
but most of these people are in that good shape, which is one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I like this gym.
Okay.
There are some people, but this is not like a gym for serious fitness people.
Okay.
Um, uh, so it's a lot of people that are like trying to lose some weight or whatever. So it's really nice. I like that about it. But anyway, do we have any news this week?
We sure do.
Oh boy.
Rumors of a Superman trailer coming this week before Sinners to also celebrate Superman Day on April 18th have been debunked by James
Oh,
Gunn.
oh boy.
Yes.
I saw the Fantastic Four trailer and the Superman IMAX special trailer back to back when I went
Yeah.
to the movies, and it made the Superman thing even more baffling.
Yeah.
Like, because the Fantastic Four, like, it's just so upbeat, and then you go to Superman groaning and screaming.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, I know that that's not what the movie is like, but like, it's
Do
just
we?
I can't be.
I mean, every time anyone talks about the movie, they're like, "Oh, it's very hopeful and fun," but the trailer and this preview don't sell that aspect of it,
Mm.
and that makes
They're
me a little
probably afraid
worried.
of it. They're afraid of it because they don't know what the audience wants, and they think maybe the audience wants a little more serious.
The
So
audience
that's
wants a pig wearing a crown that walks by for some reason, and then everybody gets very excited. And even in the movie, they're like, "We can't explain that." So that's from Minecraft. That's literally a scene in Minecraft. A CGI pig wearing a crown walks by, and the kids like, or Jason Momoa, somebody's like, why does that pig have a crown? And Jack Black just says, "There's not enough time to explain." It's like,
but
for everybody that knows Minecraft, that's clearly something great.
that might be the reference to a famous Minecraft YouTuber who died.
Okay.
There is something in this movie that is a reference to a famous YouTube Minecrafter who died, and I guess a couple of Minecraft YouTubers are in this movie.
There's one, I know somebody got cut because they complained about it.
Oh God.
And they blamed Jason Momoa for it. And they said that when they were filming their cameo, that Jason Momoa was very rude, and like cut the cameo short while they were filming.
That's amazing.
But
That's
then
so
I guess somebody else who claimed to work on the movie was like, "You were doing a terrible job. Like they had to do so many takes."
cool.
Like he wasn't rude because he's a rude guy. He was rude because
You're
this was
wasting
supposed to
everybody's
take
time.
like 10 minutes and it was
Yeah.
taking all day. It
Yeah.
was too much.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And he's a producer on the movie. He's like, "Hey, money, come
Yeah.
on." So he's doing that. Anyway, Gunn said we just released 5 minutes of footage in theaters, so it'll be a beat. So everyone's now thinking Memorial Day weekend.
I guess they should really
Yeah.
get this shit going, though. Let me tell you, and we gotta put out a trailer that reflects that sense of hope. Because
Yeah.
again, like watching these two back to back, I was like, wow, Fantastic Four makes me excited and makes me feel like it's fun. And then Superman, again, he's screaming,
Yeah.
which I don't mind. I don't mind that technically. I just, as we talked about last week, it's just weird fucking marketing.
Yes, it is. It is. Apparently it's working though. Apparently excitement for the movie is high. We'll see. It's interesting that both of these movies come out in 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could argue that nobody knows the plots of either of them.
That would be correct. They're going to release total spoiler trailers right before the movies come out.
Yeah.
And they're going to run really spoilerific TV commercials probably.
Yeah.
So we'll find out in advance soon enough.
Yeah. Somebody on Reddit was suggesting that for Superman, they're doing a very similar thing to how they did Barbie, where they released the trailer for Barbie like 2 months before the movie came out.
Mhm.
And before that, it was just like a teaser and like a commercial. And they're like, well, they're following that format because it clearly worked for Barbie.
Well, it makes sense in the modern era because people's attention spans are short. There's so much going on that like you can't do those like 1 year out teasers the way they used to because everybody's going to forget about it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like time moves so weird now that like I mean, somebody made a list of all the things that happened last week, and I was like, Jesus Christ,
So
that's
much.
one
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why, and because the TV doesn't generate as many butts in seats as it used to, because
Yeah.
nobody under 40 or 50 watches TV, and they have to they hit hard later a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
also with these kinds of movies, though, there is a lot to be said for building hype online in the social media space, and so that's why they have released earlier trailers for both these movies. So
I mean, that you also got to be wishy-washy on, because you look at something like Morbius, which was huge online. Nobody went to see it. So it's hard to gauge,
I
you
don't
know,
think it's hard to get
if well,
if you're actually reading the tweets.
if you're reading it, yeah, but if you're just looking at the engagement numbers, you're like, my God, it's going to be huge. Like, let's not, like,
They
Sony re-released Morbius because people were talking about it online,
I don't think
not
they did it.
realizing that
That's
they
not
were
why
like,
they. I don't think that's why they did it.
I can't imagine any other reason to do it.
They were probably close to a number they needed to hit, and so they just
Oh,
juice the number. That happens a lot. Like they're like, we need to make $3 million more. We hit this thing, and then it's a whole different deal. A lot of the tracking of social media doesn't just include how many people are talking about it, but they include sentiment.
yeah,
So that's part of the information they're getting. So when Morbius tweets, the sentiment is going to be ironic and stuff like that. So that's the way
yeah.
that it goes.
I can't imagine being the poor intern that's going to read every tweet about Superman.
It's not an intern. They have a company that does it.
Well, I can't do that company and just being like,
A lot of them use AI now. They just pull the shit into AI, and AI counts it and then creates a sentiment thing, and maybe a word cloud too. They love
do you
word
think they
clouds.
tell AI, like, anyone that mentions Snyder, just don't bother. Like, don't include those, because I mean, it's either gonna be people being like, it's gonna be so much better than his, or people being like, bring back the Snyderverse, and it's a wash. It doesn't matter.
It is a wash. All right, what else we got?
Uh, uh, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi did a big long interview with what's it called? Deadline. And according to Mike DeLuca, Superman's great. There you go.
Yeah, I mean he
So
runs the
yeah,
studio, so yeah, of course
I
that's
mean, yeah. Was he gonna be like, it's not that good?
yeah. There's just no way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody on the Discord was like, "Oh, these guys said that the Flash was great," and I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Like that's what you do when you run the thing. You're a business guy.
Yeah.
Like you can just lie. That's not a problem. Like
Yeah, they're not
nobody's."
going to come out and be like, don't bother.
Yeah, they got to trick as many people as possible to go to these movies, and yeah,
Yeah.
so being honest would never make any sense.
No.
That's also the same thing that when they bother asking studio execs how a movie is, and when they ask actors, would you be interested in playing this? And the actors are like, yeah, I want a job. Like it's always going to be that same
Oh,
answer.
money? Sure.
Yeah. Money?
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Oh, in Marvel, where there's a good chance that I'll get like 10 years of work out of it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Lauren Ridloff, who was in The Eternals, was asked if those characters will be showing up in Avengers Doomsday, and she said, not likely. So that breaks my heart.
It is too bad, man.
Yeah.
It is too bad. And, it would be great to bring them back because people didn't see the movie, and giving them a chance to get to know a couple of these characters. And also, a couple of those actors are really well known. So, like, why would you not want to have Angelina Jolie in your movie?
Yeah.
Like, why would you not want to have Barry Keoghan and Kumail Nanjiani? Like, those are more names you can add,
Yeah. Brian Tyree Henry, right?
Brian Tyree Henry. Yeah.
Just win like an Emmy or something
Probably.
recently. Yeah. Goofy. What are you gonna do? Set images from Born Again, Daredevil Born Again season 2 leaked out. Some more of those, where we got to look at Bullseye.
Like, he's getting closer to the comic book version. Like, he's not quite. He has the rings in his neck, which are sheerly decorative, but he doesn't have the bullseye on his head.
No, he doesn't. I'm looking at the pictures here. He's got no rings.
I've seen pictures where he did.
I don't.
No?
I'm looking. He's got the bullseye thing on his head, but it's the same color as his mask, so
you can't really see it.
But I don't see the rings.
They're not on this suit. They're not rings. They're like just like printed things underneath his neck.
Oh yeah, it's just like it looks like barcodes around his neck.
Yeah, but that's a nod to the rings. I know. I'm not saying it's good. Listen, we have liked this season of Daredevil, so
We
I
have, we
mean,
have, yeah, we have. The costume looks lame. Uh, it does. It looks lame. Oh, hold on.
oh no, he lost his page.
Oh no, that's what it goes. Okay.
Oh, he's looking at like three
Uh,
different screens. That's like so exciting.
two, just two. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not Oracle. Geraldine Visnowathan's character in Thunderbolts has a very special necklace. You want to guess what it is?
No, what is it?
It's the symbol for Songbird.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's definitely Songbird. Like, she's definitely Songbird.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw a new trailer, a new to me trailer for Thunderbolts this weekend. It was really good, and
Yeah, I think the movie looks fun.
yeah, and I'm hearing a lot of really good buzz too.
Yeah.
So this might actually be like Marvel getting back up again a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm very hopeful for Thunderbolts asterisk.
Yeah. It's funny. Again, I was reading the thing this week where I guess Thunderbolts is tracking for like a $70 million opening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is a lackluster opening. Like, there's not one character in this movie that anyone really cares about. $70 million is quite impressive.
If the movie's good, it could have legs. That's the thing.
Yes.
If the movie's good, it could have legs.
Yeah. Fantastic Four is currently undergoing reshoots, but it's probably just like pickups.
That's my guess. Is it's
Maybe,
pickup.
yeah, it's like probably a week, maybe a week and a half of just getting some pickups.
Yeah.
Maybe they need, oh, we don't explain this well enough. We need to get some dialogue that explains it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I hate when people just use reshoots as just a catch-all term because pickups are different than reshoots.
Yeah.
Pickups are like, we need a shot of Reed walking in this door. Like, otherwise this doesn't cut together. And that's what it is. They just do a shot of Reed walking through the door.
Yeah.
Or they do come in and do ADR, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although apparently there are stuntmen working in the reshoots as well. So maybe up the action. Like, we need a little bit more of a punch in this scene, or, oh, it would work better if this action beat was shot from a different angle. That kind of thing.
That could be. I mean, that's the thing is that when they're cutting the movie together, that's when they look at it and they go, okay, this is what we don't have. This is what we need. And yeah, you're right. Like, it could be like an action beat thing. They want to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think it's anything.
No, I don't think it's
worrying.
No.
Entertainment Weekly also put out a little video of Fantastic Four, showed new footage. Got to see
I didn't see it.
Johnny. No. Johnny.
People got mad because somebody said that Johnny's not going to be a womanizer in this.
Yeah, the actor who's playing Johnny.
Yeah, and people got mad about it. And I was like, I think it's okay, bro. Like, I don't think that being a womanizer is the most defining aspect of Johnny Storm's personality.
I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan in the world, but the way I've always seen the character is he would be like a big, Joe Rogan fan kind of guy.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that, right? So that's the thing.
That wouldn't be him at all.
No, he always has a lot of women, and maybe in this movie, maybe it's the women who are coming on to him all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that him being. I mean, you just rewatch the Tim Story Fantastic Fours, and I think that version of Johnny is close to the early comics, but also I think you feel real early 2000s in some of that stuff in the way that he behaves. Like he's like a pickup artist kind of, and
he's not though. Is the thing?
No,
he hits on like a nurse, and they go snowboarding in a very bad scene where they're just like, we gotta show he's extreme, Although it does lead to him like. That's the first time he flames on and whatnot. So at least it works into the story in some way.
Uh-huh.
And then in the second movie, he's single the whole time. And he's more caught up in like his two things in the second movie are, the Thing and Alicia are together. And he straight up asks, he's like, how do you guys fuck? He straight up asks, like, he's like, how does that work? And then he's also very concerned about merchandise. This is like his other character beat throughout it. And then also his powers are all weird throughout the movie, right? So he's got that. But like he's really into merchandising. And like we need to make money off of this stuff. We need money. And the rest of them are like, "Ooh, whatever." He's like, "No, this stuff's we gotta pay for a lot of stuff here. We need money." So he's kind of doing that stuff.
All right, what else we got?
Robert Pattinson is apparently going to be in Dune 3, which has people wondering what's going on with Batman Part 2.
So Robert Pattinson joining Dune 3 is amazing news because
Yeah.
he's going to be playing the villain Cytail, who is I can't even pronounce or spell the name of this guy's planet, the Toluxian face dancer. They can change their appearance,
Okay.
and he's a villain. He's a villain in the movie, and he's like a pretty good villain. And I'm very excited for that. I love the idea of Pattinson coming in and playing a bad guy, and especially playing a bad guy whose whole thing is deception and shit like that. I think that's
Sure.
going to be really fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. But what does it mean for Batman?
I mean, we don't know how much they're adapting a really short book. And
Yeah.
I don't know what they're. I mean, it's also a book where people just stand around and talk the whole book. There's not a ton of action in the book. So I don't know what they're changing.
I mean, my understanding, because I've never read the books, but my understanding is the stuff that happened with Zendaya's character is at the end of the last movie is very different from what happens in the books.
Yes, it's incredibly different. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredibly different because what happens at the end of the book, first book, he marries Irulan and keeps Chani as his consort.
Okay.
So, and then in the third book, so I can't imagine this will be in the movie. So I'm going to just, it's an establishing element. Irulan wants to have his kid, Paul's kid, but I guess she can't. And so she is giving Chani some kind of drug that will keep her from getting pregnant.
Okay.
Because she doesn't want her to have the kid, you know? And I just can't imagine that's going to be in this movie. That relationship, I just don't believe you're going to put in a 2020 movie. Like, I just don't. Because Irulan's not like a bad guy, you know? It's, you know, I mean, so I am curious what they do with this one.
I don't know. I was hoping that Pattinson would be like a Anna Taylor-Joy kind of cameo, like she was in Dune 2, but it would be like a flash forward, and we would see him as the big worm guy with a face when he's the God Emperor, and they just have his head on a worm. I'd be like, that'd be great. I would love that, but I guess not.
Oh well.
Alan Cummings talking about Avengers Doomsday says that they've got his makeup down to 90 minutes, where it took 4.5 hours for X2. And that excites me because that means he's not just going to be CG. He's going to be in makeup.
Well, he might have some CG still going on.
I mean, I imagine he'll have some CG, but, you know.
Yeah.
Better than like all CG, you know.
Yeah. So that sounds great. Yeah. Good. I'm glad that it's easier for him. I'm glad that he doesn't have to it's so miserable to show up to a movie a gazillion hours early.
Yeah.
And get the one time that I was in a movie where I had to do makeup and getting in like really early in the morning for that. Because I was playing a zombie and they were going to do me up. And that was fucking tough, man. It sucked. You just sit there in that fucking chair, like while they're doing all the appliances. They made molds of my teeth to create teeth, zombie teeth, you know, stuff like that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. And finally, there are set leaks from Supergirl where we've seen her costume, kind of.
It looks great.
It looks, from what we can see, it looks very good.
It looks
like
great.
Supergirl.
It looks really, really good. She's fighting a dude with an axe. She's on an alien tank fighting a dude with an axe. Does this ring any bells to you from the comic or from DC?
A lot of people think it's Lobo, and it's too hard to tell for sure what's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
Who she's fighting. There's a guy in DC whose whole thing is he has an atomic axe.
He's a Legion
Persuader,
isn't it?
He's a Legion guy, but like he's also like a Superman villain kind of deal. The Fatal Five, like sometimes for some reason sometimes they'll just show up in like modern day and be like, "Hey, we're here to fight," and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" But like, so like, he's not in a Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic, but he's the only guy I can think of with an axe.
Is there like a race that might carry around axes, like they're warriors?
I don't like in the comic. She's fighting all these different like pirates, and they all have like swords and guns.
Oh, okay.
And
So
maybe there's a guy with an axe, so
sense,
it could be like that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but also like whoever, like this is one of the things people are like, well, whoever it is, it's really he's towering over her, so he's really tall. And it's like, well, she's 5'5",
right?
She's not that tall, so. That
She's your height, right? That's how tall you are.
Yeah, she's my height. Yeah. So, and she's very slight. She's a very slight woman.
You
But
should marry her because you guys are the same height. That seems really sweet.
yeah, if she's up for it, sure. Why not?
Listen, don't create obstacles in your mind. Just create opportunities in your mind, my friend. You can marry Millie Alcock, and you can be exactly equal height, and that I think would
Yeah,
be very sweet. Yeah.
yeah. And then we can do the bit from the Popeye movie when the mayor says, "Remember, it's my turn to be tall tonight."
Me and Brittany were the same height, and that
Were
was
you?
really yeah, it was nice. I mean, she wore like a lot of like platforms and heels and stuff, so she was
Yeah.
sometimes bigger than me. I think she was maybe a half inch shorter, maybe 3/4 of an inch shorter, but like essentially we were the same height,
Okay.
more or
Well,
less.
there you go.
So yeah,
There you go. But yeah, there's theories that that guy is Lobo. It's very hard to tell from the leaked footage,
right.
but the Supergirl costume looks good.
Looks
It
great.
looks, yeah,
Very into it.
very very hopeful. And then there are people complaining that it's all blue screens around them. It's like, well, it's on like alien planets. What do
Yeah,
you
no.
build some Star Trek sets? Like, what do you want?
I mean, at least they're shooting it outside so they get sunlight. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because you can tell the difference between stuff that's shot on a blue or a green screen in a studio versus stuff
yeah,
that's shot outdoors. So,
yes, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see.
all right, we got any letters?
We do. Where are they?
What do we
Here
got?
they are. This is from Buddy Jod. He says, "Question for Devin: Of all the alternate first draft, different cast versions of Marvel movies that you've heard about, which one do you think could have worked best or have been better than what was released?"
Well, I think that obviously Fantastic Four hasn't come out, but Peyton Reed's version was going to be better than any of the ones that they ended up making. That was obviously Fox, but
Yeah.
I read a few. I read a version of the Avengers that was early in, and that was not that great. It got heavily redone. I read a couple of drafts of Ant-Man when it was Edgar Wright's movie, and I read like his draft, and then I read the draft that the executives were the changes they forced him to make, and that was fucking awful.
Yeah.
That was so bad. His version's pretty good. Um, his version ends with Hank Pym dying, and we go to his funeral, and there's his coffin bearers are all ants. So there's like 1,000 ants carrying his coffin into the church, which is
That's
like
pretty great.
great. And it was really great. I kept wanting them to kill that character so they could take that gag. I mean, like it's just such a great fucking gag, you know?
But if they killed that character, Shane's favorite line from any of the Ant-Man movies wouldn't happen, which is when he says, "I like ants." So, in Quantumania.
But I mean, those are the ones that I know best in terms of like having actual experience with the scripts and stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got. So I don't know
Yeah.
that Edgar's Ant-Man would be better than Peyton's Ant-Man,
Yeah.
because Peyton's Ant-Man has a lot in common, but Peyton did create a bunch of new stuff. But like when he falls through the floor and ends up on the turntable, that's from the Edgar Wright script and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Well, there you go.
there you go.
There you go. This is a question from Christian Farrell. He says, "You've talked before about how one of the great contributors to the chemistry in the MCU is that a lot of the actors became friends. Do you have any good stories or firsthand or historical knowledge about casts that hated each other?"
I don't. I actually, I actually don't. Now that I think, oh well. I mean, I can't think of any casts that hated each other. I know that Robert Downey Jr. was like really abusive to Jon Favreau on Iron Man 2.
I think this is more just like open any movies, not just Marvel.
Oh, I mean, I would have to think about it. Do we know the problem with these fucking questions is they're questions that require me to consider something, and
Yeah.
it's hard for me to do it off the top of my head. I'm gonna think on that one. I do know that Chris Evans brought the Avengers to a strip club
There you go.
when they made the first Avengers,
There you go.
so I know that. So
The one story that's on my mind, because I was listening to something that discussed this recently, is for the movie Can't Stop the Music, which is the Village People movie.
Mm-hmm.
Valerie Perrine and the director did not get along to the point that the director refused to be on set when she was on set. And she is in arguably 80% of the shots of that movie. So it's like, how did this guy didn't direct the movie then, did he?
It does feel like a movie that nobody directed. That is very
Yes.
true.
Yes. That movie's wild. It's a weird one.
It was shooting at the exact same time as Cruising.
Yes, they discussed this too. I was listening to an episode of How Did This Get Made, and they discussed how it was filming at the same time as Cruising, and gay advocacy groups would show up to plan to go to the Cruising set to protest, but they often ended up on like where they were filming Can't Stop the Music.
Yeah, because they were both shooting in the exact same neighborhood too. They were like
Yeah.
really shooting at the same time, really close to each other.
Yeah.
And there was like one day where they were like a block apart. I mean, like that's kind of crazy.
It's wild. It's wild. And then finally from Sandwich, I had a question. Do you have a comic book glup shitto? You could say James Gunn has Rom Space Knight, and for Sandwich himself, it's Chamber from X-Men. Just a weird little guy you like and are excited for when they show up.
Like in the comics?
Yeah.
There's always some weird ass X-Men character. My favorite non-A level X-Man is Havoc. I just always like Havoc, and there was like this Bill Sienkiewicz cover where it's just incredible looking, and that kind of like made me fall in love with him. And I love his headgear that he used to have. Like I just love that headgear. But my answer to the actual question though has got to be Dupe. I mean, like he's a weird little guy, and he rarely shows up. Like I don't know why nobody uses him anymore. But that would be my guy. Would be Dupe.
Dupe.
Yeah. I mean, there's other there's other characters that are like funny to show up.
Yeah.
But like when Dupe shows up, like I like it, and like the way that Gunn likes Rom Space Knight, like would love to use him in a movie. I would love to see Dupe in a movie. In fact, when there was some concept art that appeared to show Dupe in Secret Wars, I was very psyched.
Yes. Yeah. For me, there's a character I would say, but he's never appeared anywhere besides the Bill Loeb's run of The Flash, which is Mason Trowbridge, Flash's Wally West's old roommate. I love that character, but he never showed up anywhere else. So I'm going to go with Chunk, another character from Flash, who rarely shows up, but is such a great character, and I don't understand why nobody uses him. Like he's got a cool power set, he's got a cool look, like design.
Isn't he enormously fat?
He's a very large guy, and he has a dimensional universe existing within him, so he has to constantly feed it, otherwise it'll turn into a black hole, and it could destroy the entire universe. And
I mean, that's why nobody uses him anymore.
But what's great about him, like when he first showed up in Flash, he's like stealing stuff to eat it and whatnot, and then like he eats Flash, and Flash ends up in that universe, and all this stuff happens, and then Flash comes out, and they become buddies, and he ends up Chunk creates a company where he's like, hey, you have garbage, you have toxic waste, you have things like that are going to destroy the earth, I'll eat it. And he becomes like a billionaire, and it's like, that's great, like this guy should be showing up all the time for stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why they're not using him, because it feels a little fat phobic. Like a giant fat guy who has to keep eating, like that does feel a little fat phobic. And because like Matter Eater Lad exists, and he's skinny. I think that's actually better that he's skinny, because it's funnier a guy who just eats fucking everything.
I mean, the idea that he's got to constantly eat, you would think that would mean that he'd be emaciated. If it's like, if I don't do this, I'll die and the whole universe will explode. So he should be, because the idea would be that the energy is constantly being used up.
Yeah, he's not even. Wouldn't the food not actually go into his body? They would go into the other dimension. Yeah, he can't eat toxic waste and have it go into his body. It has to go into the other dimension directly. Yeah. So he's actually not eating anything. His body probably is starving.
Yeah.
He would have to get his nutrients through an IV.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and he was also in the comics. He was like just a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And it was mainly during a period when Wally was a jerk. Right. And he would all the time be like, Wally, Like, what are you doing, man? Why are you being
Also, his name is Chunk. I mean, like, just like you just can't in the modern world.
Well, he was on the Flash TV show for the last couple of seasons, but
Was
he
he
didn't have
really?
powers. Yeah, he was just like a dude that hung out with him, and he didn't have powers. He was like a smart scientist guy,
Was he super
and
fat?
he was not. No, no.
Yeah, because
And
Chunk
I
in the comics is super fat, right?
yes, yeah,
Like
and
400 pounds if he's an ounce.
oh no, like
800
600 pound
pounds.
sister kind of stuff, like
Yeah,
that
okay,
kind of deal.
yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember if on the Flash TV show they called him Chunk or if they just called him Chester because his name is Chester Runk, and so I don't know if I can't remember if they called him Chunk on the show or not.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He nothing against the actor, but the character sucked in the show. He did. He was like, oh, he's just a cool scientist guy, and it was like,
Right. Yeah.
you got like 7 of those already. Like, we don't need another one. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Too
If
many of
you're
them.
gonna use Chunk. Like, give him his powers. Like, fine, don't make him like a big fat dude, but give him his powers at least. Do something
Yeah.
fun with it.
All right. You ready to talk about that? Was 3, right? We did 3.
That was 3.
You ready to do Daredevil Born Again, the penultimate episode of season 1?
I am.
All right. Let us do it. Daredevil Born Again, season 1, episode 8, Isle of Joy. We open up in the prison where Bullseye is. And,
Yes.
you know what? I understand why they didn't do this, but like if anybody should be in the raft, it's going to be Bullseye.
Yeah.
Like he's a guy that's too dangerous to just have in a prison. Like it's just way too dangerous. And if you have the raft in the Marvel universe, he would be the guy you put in there. I understand why they don't, because this is a TV show budget, and also because how the fuck does he get out of there?
Yeah.
So they need him to escape. So, but
I mean, he could essentially escape the same way he escapes in this.
he
Just
can't get back to the
a
land.
bus. No, instead of a bus, he takes a boat with the other guards. Because the guards don't live on the raft.
I have to feel like the raft security is higher. Like you can't just melt in with the guards, I feel like, on the raft. But who knows? You would hope anyway. He is. They keep his hands tied up in a Chinese finger trap, and he is saying, "I'm not supposed to be here. It's my day off. I'm not saying I'm supposed to be here."
And Randall comes in. And he's like, "What do you think of Jaws 4?"
And but it turns out something pretty bad's about to happen to my good man Bullseye. They are going to take old Poindexter and they are going to put him in Gen Pop. And
yes.
He has his hands all tied up, so he can't do much. And we end with him getting stared at by all the Gen Pop guys.
I like to think that, like, when they were getting ready to bring him to Gen Pop, they were first like, "Hey, all convicts, everybody in here, gather up by this gate, because it's gonna be real fun when we bring them." And everyone's just standing here, because I don't think that's how Gen Pop works. That everyone just like stands in one hallway. Like, I've never been to prison, so I could be wrong, but I've watched, like Lockup and stuff like that, and they're not all just standing in a hallway.
I mean, one of my problems with this story beat is that it doesn't mean anything.
Well, the idea is that he's going to get killed,
but he doesn't. Like he doesn't have bruising. Like there's no, like when Matt comes to see him, there's no sense that he has had.
Fine.
No sense that he's had a hard time, and that's my problem. You know what I mean? Like I understand what Kingpin's plan is, but the problem, or Vanessa, depending on who made this happen. But the problem is that it just doesn't. That part doesn't go anywhere. Like we could just have him with the fucking doctor,
Yeah, and there are a few things in this episode that I was like, "Oh, you should have been setting this up for a couple of episodes now," and this is one of them. Like if 2 episodes ago they move him into Gen Pop, and then the next episode, we see him like have a fight with a couple of guys in there,
right?
And that's when he's like, "I got to talk to Matt Murdock." Like, set it up a bit more. And again, like there's a couple of things in this episode that felt like that to me.
I mean, part of it is that the other episodes were just Frankenstein together, so that's part of the reason why some of this stuff wasn't fully set up. So Wilson Fisk is pretty happy with Vanessa. As we talked about, it turns out you were wrong. She did set Luca up.
Yeah.
And it does seem like these two really are stronger when they're killing people.
Yeah,
Like the crime really does it for this couple. That is like the
that's their kink.
spark. That's their
Yeah,
whole thing. So he's pretty psyched. And there's another couple we're going to deal with, which is Matt and Heather. And Heather is like talking about Muse and how she killed him and stuff like that. And she compares Muse to Daredevil, and Matt is like, I don't know about that. And I this scene also bugged me a little bit because Matt's such a dick in it.
yeah,
He's such a dick. Like she's had a truly traumatic event, like
yeah,
unbelievably traumatic. And when she thought that he had a traumatic event, which we know that for Daredevil, that hostage situation was not a big deal, she was really caring. And
yeah.
Matt does not seem caring. He just wants to argue with her about Daredevil.
He starts off caring, and then when she's like, Muse to Daredevil to me or whatever, and like there's no difference between them, all of a sudden he's like, well, fuck you. He's like, he takes it very personally, which I somewhat understand because he is Daredevil, but at the same time, he should understand, like, yeah, you just went through something horrific. And I'm going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to say that right now because that's not going to help anything. And also, you're probably not wrong, in some ways.
Well, yeah, also, but like if you're keeping a secret identity, like getting mad when somebody shit talks the vigilante that you are, does not seem like a smart way to go about it. It's like this is Peter Parker sells pictures of Spider-Man to J. Jonah Jameson, who hates Spider-Man. Like that's like, obviously the fact that Peter takes all these pictures of Spider-Man is suspect, but like the fact that he's selling it to a guy who hates Spidey does remove a little bit of that. The question. So.
But yeah, I mean, he does not handle it well. He's not good at much of anything in this episode. Although I think that's the point throughout this episode.
Yeah, I do think it's the point, and I do think that what we're seeing here is him identifying with Daredevil in a way that he has not in the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and that's part of the thing. It just feels like really like just super jerky. And when he's like, Daredevil saved me, Daredevil saved you, and she's like, no, I saved myself. He like that really irritates him. And it's like, dude, let it go, man. Like, let her hate Daredevil or fucking unmask. Those are your two options. Like, let her hate Daredevil or unmask, because that's the other thing, is that at this point in their relationship, when she finds out he's Daredevil, it's a betrayal because he never let her in on it. And
I mean, it's not the biggest superhero betrayal to unmasking. That goes to Barry Allen, obviously, who did not tell Iris that he was the Flash until after they were married.
Crazy.
So, yeah. And then she was like, I knew you were the Flash because on our wedding night, you said it in your sleep. And it's like, both of you were messed up then, because why would you not confront him about that? But,
I knew you were the Flash because our wedding night lasted 2.5 seconds.
She said it, I knew you were the Flash because of our wedding night. It would be very, very different. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that the Flash 1990 show opens with...
Well, that was fast.
Yeah, like a joke about the Flash being fast at sex. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, it doesn't open. That's not like the first scene. But
it's like one of the first scenes of the show.
It's in the first episode. It's in the pilot.
It's really early.
And he looks at her confused, and she's like, the fight, Tyson, he won really fast.
So as they're arguing, there's a knock on the door. And who should it be but Buck?
Yep.
His name is Buck. He likes to fuck. And he has an envelope for Heather. And it's an invitation to the inaugural Black and White Ball hosted by Wilson Fisk and Vanessa.
Buck needs to work on his manners. Do not peek through the door like that. It's very rude.
Well, he knows that this is Matt's apartment. He knows that Matt's in there.
Matt answers the door. There's not a question of...
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. That's right. He does.
But like, he peeks his head in and he's like, oh, is Heather here? And he's peeking his head in and he's like, what if Heather was at the kitchen, like, naked? Like, don't do that.
I think he's trying to get the lay of the land because they know he's Daredevil. So I think I think he's like, okay, what does this place look like? Like, what's the deal? If we have to come busting in here.
It's very rude. It's very rude.
So
Matt does not open the door all the way. He opens up like maybe like a foot.
Right.
That's a clear sign of like, I don't want you looking in my house. So like it could be a mess.
Yeah, but Buck's a villain, and Buck knows Matt's Daredevil, and Buck is gonna...
You could be a villain and still have manners. All right.
So he has this invitation. I thought it was going to be something more. Do you know what I mean? Because like she had such a bad time, and Fisk is so rich. But anyway, it's an
Yeah.
invitation to this party, and Matt continues being a dick and is like, he doesn't like actually discuss why going to Kingpin's party is a bad idea. He just keeps insisting that it is, and the answer
Yeah.
is like, I was involved in cases against him. Like I prosecuted this guy. Like I was involved in that. But they don't have him say that, which is like so weird.
Yeah. We also from this we can gather that Matt Murdock not invited to parties often
that I believe.
because she gets the invitation and she's like, well, are you going to come with me? He's like, well, I wasn't invited. And then she's like, there's a +1.
That's such a funny bit.
And he seems so surprised by that. Like,
that is such a funny bit. Yeah, it was so great. I like that a lot. She's like, yeah, it's Heather Glenn and Guest.
Yeah.
So he is like, maybe, sure.
Sure, I'll be there. And he runs out. Yeah.
And then he leaves. He kind of like leaves it open, you know? So speaking of couples, again, we cut back to Fisk and Vanessa. He has brought her to Red Hook. Now we learn where his little subterranean prison is.
Yeah.
And it's in Red Hook. And he takes her downstairs and shows her Adam in the cage.
Yes.
And there is like this moment where it seems Adam thinks that she's there to like rescue him. And he's like really excited. He's like, I'll just get out of town and you guys will never hear from me again. And he says, listen, you know what? I'm a better man than I was. But so that's why I'm going to give you the key to this.
This is Benson and Moorhead, I think, are absolutely fantastic filmmakers. There's a shot here that I was like, I don't understand why they did this, where we see a part of the table and we can see the key and a sliver of the gun. Why not show clearly both of them?
I think it was really well framed. I think it was just an interesting shot. I think it was just like, it was, you know that it's a gun. Like you don't need to see the whole thing to know that it's a gun. And the way that things are arranged, the mise en scène, I thought was really, really cool. This episode is a lot. They did a lot of cool visual stuff in this episode.
They go full Creepshow in this episode.
They do go full Creepshow.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has the gun. He gives her the key. She opens the door and she fucking kills Adam.
Shoots him right in the face. Shoots him in the chest first, and then in the face.
Yeah, she fucks him up, man.
Yeah.
And exit Lou Taylor Pucci, who was once a up and coming hot star. He was in Spring, the Benson and Moorhead movie.
Yeah.
So I think this is
a great movie.
This is, I think, Buddy's like, hey, why don't you come hang out with us on this set for a couple days,
Although he's been in multiple episodes. Was he like, I don't know if they cast him or if he was cast in somebody else's episode.
Well, it's possible that the Adam stuff was added because all of the therapist stuff is reshoots.
Okay.
Because they had different actors playing Vanessa.
Okay. Oh, really?
And, yeah, because Islet Zahur, whatever her name is, she had a different thing going. She had schedule didn't work.
Okay.
But once the show got retooled, she was available for that. So they reshot every single thing that she's in
Somebody
those
got
previous
Eric
episodes. Somebody did get Eric Stoltz, fully Eric Stoltz. So it's possible that the whole Adam storyline was added in the retool.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me because, again, it's Lou Taylor Pucci, who isn't like a huge star, but like I'm not sure that he's a guy that you put underneath a big fake beard and a big wig and have him locked in a cage and do nothing for this many episodes. That feels like it's like, hey, you're my buddy, you're our buddy. Why don't you come do a few days here? I mean, they might have hit all of those bunker stuff in 1 week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Since they were going back and
reshooting. More than likely, yeah.
And
even if there wasn't reshoots, that's something like, they had the scripts ahead of time. They would have been like, oh, we got to film all these on this set. That way we can tear down the set and build another set and blah, 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 that kind of deal.
Yeah. So that is a moment. That's the romantic moment. As Matt and Heather are having problems, Vanessa and Wilson have truly found love with each other again.
Yes.
I wish I had knew more about the original show because I am curious if this was the first person that she killed with her hands. Not like hired somebody to kill or
Yeah.
tricked somebody, but like actually shot.
Like if she killed somebody in the previous series, the Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have no idea.
if you are listening to this and you know the answer to that, come on the Discord and let me know because I am actually very curious about this. Because if
I mean,
that was her first murder, her first like hands-on murder, that's like a big moment, you know.
that's a big moment, and she's real chill about it. You know, you'd think
Yeah.
it'd be she like came to him and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like, but no. So I don't know.
Matt goes to the office and Kirsten is like, "Hey, so maybe I shouldn't tell you." Another person's like, maybe I shouldn't tell you this. This is like a recurring theme on this program." But Bullseye wants to have a meeting with you, and he's like, "Why the fuck? What?" And it's like he got moved to Gen Pop, and he wants to talk to you, and so that is enough to pique Matt's curiosity to find out what is going on. And
Also that the order to move him came directly from Fisk is a big
yes,
part of it too.
yeah. Mayor Fisk has everybody in his office. He's very happy about his hyper violent bad apple squad.
This is the second bit where I was like, oh, I wish we'd seen more of this because they say vigilante crime is down 35% since the anti-vigilante task force was formed. I was like, I would have liked it if we'd seen them, like scenes of them beating up like vigilantes and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That would have been pretty good. The assumption is that there's other vigilantes, whether they be just sort of like Punisher-esque Charles Bronson guys,
Yeah.
or whether they be costume dorks. And
yeah, I mean, Sword Masters out there, right?
Sword Masters out there. There were a couple of other guys that were running around in the original series, and enough time has passed between the end of the original series and now that who knows what the scene is in New York City.
What if they were like, it's down 35%? We did kill Danny Rand. That's it.
Oh, and a nation cheers. By the way, so Gandolfini's in this scene. Gandolfini is in Warfare.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
Gandolfini's in Warfare. Yeah. And he's great, but he's also the same character.
Is he?
Yeah, he kind of is, like a little bit.
I mean, I like him. I think he's really good in this. And I thought he was good in the Sopranos movie.
Yeah.
But with his face and voice and body type, this is all the character he can do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He's always kind of like stuck in the doofus a little bit because he's kind of a doofus in not like a huge one. It's not like he's like the funny guy or like the accident prone guy. Because there's nothing like that in that movie, but he is a bit of a doofus. He does something really stupid in Warfare. Yeah, something very fucking stupid.
Yeah. I really like him on this show a lot.
I like him a lot on this show, man.
He might be my favorite character on this show.
He is so great.
Yeah,
and
he's got a good line in this where Fisk is like I don't want to spend the day kissing babies in suits, and he goes, "Is that on the schedule?"
It's so great. Yeah, it's so great. So what happens here is that Fisk is like, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to make Gandolfini deputy mayor for communications," and his political lady Sheila is like, "What are you fucking doing? This is an awful idea."
Yeah,
and Fisk does like the whole like loyalty thing. You know, he appreciates his hustle and all that kind of shit.
Fisk hits me in the gut in this scene, by the way.
Yeah,
because she says. Something along the lines of if you don't mind, and then she says, I don't think he's the right choice. And Fisk says, I do mind, which is the exact same thing Vince Vaughn said to me when I interrupted a conversation he was having at a bar in New York. And I said, if you don't mind. And then I spoke for like 2 minutes and he said, I do mind. And then just walked away. And I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear on this. Vince Vaughn was not being a dick. I interrupted his conversation to tell him he was wrong about what he was saying. And I had no right to do that. Like, I was very drunk.
The thing is, like, Vince Vaughn is a dick.
Vince Vaughn apparently is a dick. In this moment, I was in the wrong. 100% I was in the wrong. I want to be very clear about that.
Okay. But
So,
he was wrong. You were just giving him a correction. He should be happy to learn something from you.
I suppose it
Uh,
did lead to me standing there feeling like garbage, and then Janine Garofalo tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, come sit over here." And then I hung out with her all night, so it all worked out.
well, there you go.
Yeah,
Look at this. Look at
yeah.
your star-studded past.
That's like one of 3 times I've met celebrities.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn's a huge fucking asshole, and I think he's pretty right wing too. From at least he was. I don't know if he's like a never Trumper.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, but he was pretty right wing
yeah.
back in before Trump.
But the
So
MCU may not exist without him. So think about that.
why is that?
Because he's the one that convinced Kevin Feige to meet with Jon Favreau for Iron Man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I like Favreau and I like his movies. I'm not 100% convinced that a different director couldn't have made Iron Man.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. So he we have Matt and Kirsten. They got a client in the room. I didn't skip the bullseye bit, right?
No.
Okay. No. They have a client in the room, and they're like talking about his case. And Matt's like, this guy's fucking lying. Like, this guy's just lying. He daredevils him. And it is very funny because Matt just fucking is like, go to hell, fuck you. Like, you're a piece of shit.
Matt does the good Christian maneuver of go to hell, which is go in grace. Which is great. That is a great little touch of a reminder of like, oh, this guy's Matt Murdock is a religious guy.
Yeah.
And when he says it to him, he's like, if you want to lie on the stand, go in grace. And I'm like, that's great. I love it.
That. Matt's not wrong, by the way. This guy is lying. There's no easy way for Kirsten to tell. It's very easy for Matt. And if this was the comics, it wouldn't just be the heartbeat. Like, there would be like pheromones and stuff like that. Like, he would, I mean, it's not even a question that Matt knows.
His pupils would dilate. Yeah.
So Matt's not wrong. He just does not handle it well. No. Is the thing. And he storms out, and Kirsten goes and follows him, and he gives this whole speech about nothing we do makes a difference. You know, we got Hector off, and then he got shot in the head, which is not the fault of anyone in that room.
No. And it's also it's interesting, again, that's something that's not really been followed up on this season. And I really thought that would be closed out by the end. I don't think it's going to be.
I think it will, because I think next episode they're going to have to deal with the Punisher and the cops. That's all who's left at this point, really.
Bullseye just spoilers for the end of this episode. Bullseye shoots Matt in the chest.
I think Bullseye takes off. I think he just disappears. He's in the wind. I think is going to be the way that goes. But he gives this whole speech. Nothing they do matters. The bad guys just keep winning. The good guys keep getting crushed. And she is like, "Hey, shut the fuck up, man up, Matt." He goes down to Josie's, and the bartender there is like, wow, you haven't been here since the night that the most hated character on Daredevil died.
Do you think he went there just to stand there in the rain, or did he know that she would be there? Because he's standing there, and she opens up the door, and she's like, are you going to come in or not? And then she says, like, the place has been closed ever since that night. So I don't know if he knows she's there.
I mean, he's standing at the spot where Foggy died.
Yeah.
Although I'm more and more convinced he didn't die. But he's standing at the spot where Foggy died. So I think that he was just going to stand there in the rain. Because the thing about Matt is that he is a mopey drama queen.
Yeah. He loves, perching on gargoyles and standing in the rain. Him and Batman and Spider-Man. That's like their favorite thing to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you can see the Frank Miller panel of him in the rain. Like, you can just see it. Like, it's like obvious how that looks. You know what I mean? Like, so
I would prefer the JR panel because I think he does rain better than maybe anyone in comics. I love the way he does rain.
I bet Frank Miller would use like a lot of negative space.
He would use a lot of negative space. John Romita Jr. does rain, and the only way I can explain it is chubby rain. Because his rain lines are thick, and I like that. I like that a lot.
So he goes inside and gets a drink poured, and then Cherry shows up. Cherry's been like following him. Right? That's the deal, right? Cherry's following him.
He shows up. He doesn't say he's following him, but he was like, "Oh, Kristen asked me to look, or Kirsten asked me to look in on you."
Yeah, so I think that means he's following him. That's his
Yeah,
job. You know what I mean? He's a PI for the firm. They are talking. Matt's like, man, there was something else happening here. Like, we missed something. And we have a very funny flashback that's predicated on the idea that the only time Foggy would ever drink a certain thing is when he's celebrating winning a case.
that's from the original show.
Is
That I
it?
do. Yeah, that I do remember from the original show. That there's a whiskey that they it comes from, if I remember right, from in the first season, they explained that when they were in law school, whenever they finished like exams, like big exams, they would have this drink, and then when they became lawyers, that was part of the deal. It's like when we win cases, we drink
Okay,
this.
there we go.
Yeah,
So that means that he knows that Foggy had just won a case or was going to
yeah,
win a case.
yeah.
And so now Matt's like, wait, what if the person who he was going to win a case against had him rubbed out? That's like where his mind is going now. He's like, fuck, like, that's pretty crazy. And then he gets up and he just walks out of the bar, and the bartender's like, did he not use his cane?
Yeah,
Which I liked a lot.
this kind of bugged me
Why?
because 2 minutes earlier, Cherry walked in, and before, like, as the door's opening, Matt's like, Cherry. He knows it's Cherry. She doesn't like, hey, how do you know it's Cherry? Like that seems just as strange to me if I was her.
I guess, I mean, if somebody was blind and someone they knew came into a room, I might believe that they could smell their cologne or just be really familiar with their footsteps. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, everybody has like a little bit of a different footstep. And so I think that she could like write off, you know, or maybe he knew that Cherry was coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the bar's closed. So
That's
who
true.
else is
That's
going to
true.
walk in here?
Yeah.
But it is very
But
funny.
again, it didn't seem like he was planning to go in there. So I guess maybe like she's like, oh, him and Cherry were going to meet
Yeah,
in front of him or some
that would
reason.
have been my guess. That's what
Yeah.
she's like rationalizing, because she's not going to imagine maybe this guy's got superpowers,
Yeah.
because nobody even knows Daredevil's blind. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Like,
Yeah. It's not
everybody
common
assumes
knowledge.
that
Yeah.
he's just a regular dude.
Yeah.
So
And by
he
the
takes.
way, to be very clear, everybody has different footsteps was the follow up to Everybody Poops, but it just did not do so good. Come on, that's a winner.
So
That's a winner.
Matt goes to prison to have that meeting with Bullseye, and it's really funny because Matt, like, Bullseye is like trying to do like a police thing where he's like trying to like weasel his way into giving information and getting what he wants, and
Yeah.
Matt is like, fuck you, tell me, fuck you, tell me.
Arguably, Charlie Cox gives an amazing line read in this scene where Bullseye Poindexter is like, if I'm gonna get killed tonight. All right, he's essentially like, after tonight, I may not be able to ever tell you what really happened. And he leans in. Charlie Cox leans in and goes, "Oh, sweetheart." And the way he says it with so much contempt and sarcasm is perfect. I was like, "Oh, that is good. That is a good bit right there. Like he
Yeah.
nailed that.
Yeah.
Really good."
So he loses his patience with Bullseye, and he just beats his face into the table 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, until we hear a crack of the nose.
And then he goes, guard. He just started banging his head against the table. I was like, boy, Matt, you are like cold-blooded.
Yeah.
And they, as they're pulling Bullseye away, Matt's like, fuck you.
With spit, he spits out.
Yeah.
Like saliva comes out of his mouth.
So we have the black and white ball is happening now. And Dana from the pit is talking to Swordsman, right? That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
So
she's very nervous.
She's super nervous. I saw a lot of complaints about this scene. It's quite clear that her partner or husband has been kidnapped. It is so clear to me.
I disagree.
Really?
I think she's very worried about Robbie. And that's what's happening. It's a pit joke. She's worried about Robbie from the pit. Did you freeze?
No, I did not. She, because I've seen a number of people like, I don't even understand, like, what we didn't see her go into that room with Kingpin. What's she even afraid of? And it's quite clear that she's
Yeah.
like, he's like, where's your partner? And she goes, oh, I don't know. Where's yours? And it's
Yeah.
such a warning, like he's gonna fuck you. Like, this guy is now not playing the game anymore. He has totally changed his whole thing.
Yeah.
And we see
Well,
Dan.
Daniel has that great, yeah, right here. Daniel's got the great line where he's like, or maybe it's a bit later, where he's talking to BB and he says, everyone in this room everyone here wants to go into that room. We're scared shitless they're going to be called into that room.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's a good bit. That's a
Yeah,
good line.
it's a real good bit. And so he talks to BB and he's like, hey, BB, thanks for printing lies for me. I really like their friendship.
Well, before he talks to her, he talks to, what's her name? The woman that works for Fisk.
Sheila.
And she's like, hey, what happened in the office? I hope there's no hard feelings. I think it's too early for you to have this position. And he, again, a really good line from him. He says, when I first started, I was really worried about us, whether we would be on the same side or not. I got to say, I'm not worried so much anymore.
Yeah, it's really
And he
good.
just walks away. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's really good. I like Daniel's slow descent into evil. I actually really enjoy it.
I don't even think it's that slow.
I mean,
he says it to BB. He's like, I'm inside of something and I'm running as fast as I can until somebody tells me stop. Like, he just wants power and and money and stuff. I
well,
think.
yeah, no, that's 100% what's motivating him. And but like, I think that he has become, now that he has like a position, we've watched him over the season. He's still a doofus, but
Yeah.
he's a doofus who's willing to do stuff like blackmail BB to make sure that she does the story that
Yeah.
he wants, and then now just being really awful to Sheila, like, and being like, I'm not afraid of you anymore because Fisk is my guy now.
Yeah.
And you can go jump off a bridge. But I like BB and Gandolfini's relationship. I really do. Like, there actually is like a sense that they are friends when they talk.
Yes.
And especially from him, you know what I mean? Like, he's talking to her, like he's trying to do his like little mastermind thing, but he's also like, oh, BB, come on. Like, he has like that attitude at the same time. I quite like that. So Swordsman gets called into Kingpin's office, and Kingpin is like, I know you're the fucking swordsman. And he's like, what?
Before that, Fisk and Vanessa are presented at the party, and they come out of a safe, which had me wondering how long they were just sitting in that safe, because they had to be in there before anyone arrived for the party. Right?
Well,
that's a very long time.
His white suit again.
He's wearing his white suit. He's in the classic white. She's wearing red.
Yeah.
Which you're not supposed to wear at a black and white party.
No, I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, she's like, fuck you guys. I'm the center of attention here. Like,
yes.
That's the thing. Because, yeah, it's a black and white party. It's rude to wear something that's going to stand out.
You're supposed to wear black or white.
Yeah. And she's like, fuck it. Like, I'm the red accent. I'm the girl in the red jacket from Schindler's List.
Yeah. I don't think that's what she's going for. But who knows? Who knows? They're a weird couple. They very easily could have taken the wrong story out of it.
So he basically tells Jack Duquesne, the swordsman, I know you're the fucking swordsman, and here's the deal: I need some money for my Red Hook thing, and you're gonna give it to me. And I mean, it's a pretty good bit. Like, I like the way that D'Onofrio plays Fisk when he's being an operator.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and the feeling that he knows that he has the upper hand and there's nothing that Jack can do. Yeah. And the way that he just like is very calm and relaxed. He's not threatening, you know what I mean? None of that stuff. And I really, really, really enjoy it. So he also talks to another guy too. Meanwhile, Heather's trying to call Matt. She's been texting Matt. She's been calling Matt. She does not hear from Matt. And, it seems like this is bad. This is actually when Kingpin and Vanessa show up. because they've been in that. They must have come in through the back because he's in that little room, and then they make their big appearance.
No, they make their appearance before he talks to Swordsman.
I don't think that he does.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I don't believe that he does.
No, he definitely does, because the Swordsman stuff happens when Matt is there.
No, it doesn't.
Matt is listening in on the conversation.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Boy, what if I took better notes? Some of these sort of episodes, because some of these episodes where they keep jumping back and forth between things, I can get very easily confused. I can get very easily confused what happened when. So in prison, Bullseye is at the doctor, and they're stitching his face up, and then we realize that he has a dislodged tooth, and he spits the tooth into the doctor's eye and kills him.
No, the cop's eye.
It wasn't the doctor?
No, he's
oh, right, the doctor. He throws the thing at the doctor.
He throws scissors at both of them, but it's the cop he takes out first.
Yeah, that was really great. I love that. That. That's very comic booky. That's exactly the kind of shit that I want to see.
I believe taken straight from. I mean, maybe not taken, but a very similar thing in the Ultimates, where Hawkeye bites off one of his fingernails and uses it to kill a guy. Yeah.
No, it's definitely a thing that's been in the comics before. And it's just like so heightened. Like you can't spit a tooth into somebody's eye unless they're doing tooth and eye surgery, which we talked about on the Bad Batch this week.
Yes.
So
maybe this is how they originally came up with that surgery.
So he kills these guys, and then he takes off. He puts on a whatchamacallit, a cop uniform, and he just like sort of slides out and goes on the bus. As he gets on the bus, one of the other cops is like, "Rough day, huh?" And these cops, this Daredevil's got just such enormous ACAB energy. There's not like a single cop who's like any good. They're either evil or stupid. Like that's what they are.
Yeah, there's a bit coming up that I thought they were going a different way with the character, and I guess they're not. That's one of the cops. Yeah.
So Matt finally shows up, and he is going to go up to Heather. Fisk gets in the way, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I mean, like, listen, I'm sorry, I've been like a little distracted." And you're right, he's listening to Fisk talking to Jack, and he's not paying attention to Heather.
Yeah.
Matt's streak of being a jerk.
When he comes in, he's walking towards Fisk, and then Heather cuts him off, and he's like, "Oh, everybody's wearing Chanel number 5. I couldn't find you in the crowd." And I would agree with him, because she's once again has a different hairstyle.
Who knows who she is? Nobody knows.
It's very hard to tell.
There's a thing I skipped over when he's talking to Poindexter before he beats the shit out of him. He's like, "Why would I even help you?" And he's like, "Because you're a good guy." And
he says, I wrote it down, didn't I?
Find it. I don't have it written down. So
here it is. In another life, you might be defending me, because that's what good men do, right? Defend their worst enemies.
Yeah, and that's
no.
Oh, I actually agree with that. I agree with that.
I think, to a certain extent, but I think it's like, hey, man, you killed my buddy. You were put in prison for it. You're on your own at this point.
No, I agree with that, but I think that like the defending that he's talking about is like not letting him get murdered in Gen Pop.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking. He's not talking about like he's going to be his lawyer. It's like, can you stop this from happening and get me out of there, because I'm going to be murdered tonight.
And this is one thing I think is on purpose, like somewhat on purpose. Let me take that back. Is on purpose. Is I do think that when Matt bashes his face in, part of it is obviously anger and rage. The other part is, now you're going to have to go to the infirmary, so you'll be fine tonight, is I think what he's thinking. And even like as they're pulling Poindexter out, he's like, "Thank you." And that's when he's like, "Fuck you." I don't think Matt was like, "And now you'll use your tooth to kill people."
That's interesting. I hadn't even considered that was what Matt was thinking, was that he would be in the infirmary. They were going to take him back to his cell, though.
Yeah, but I think Matt was like, "Oh, maybe you're lucky and you'll have a concussion. I'll have to keep you overnight." Like that's how I read that scene, was him being like,
"That's interesting.
Like, I'll help you, but in helping you, I'm going to really cause you some pain." That's how I took it.
No, that's a very interesting take. I did not consider it. I did not consider it at all.
And it leads
So
into the great superhero problem where it's like, oh, my actions that I was doing to try and help in some way have led to people dying.
right.
That's a classic superhero guilt trip.
So there's a reporter at the black and white ball, and he takes a picture, and you're not supposed to take pictures. And so good old Officer Powell, our favorite cop, who might be undead because in the second episode, it did appear that maybe it was the first episode. It
was his partner in that episode, wasn't it?
It was Powell too. It was Powell and a partner, wasn't it?
But the partner's the one that landed and looked like he broke his neck.
Oh, was he the one? Powell just got the fridge in his face?
Yeah. Okay. Which would also probably kill you, but
I don't know if it would kill you. Maybe if
the amount of blood all over that fridge door.
So he takes this reporter back in the back by the kitchen, and like he's about to rough him up, and then Commissioner Gallo shows up. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, this is not right. Like, you're assaulting this man." And fucking the cop is like, "Listen, I don't answer to you anymore. Like, I'm direct report to Fisk. Oh, and by the way, I wasn't assaulting him." And then he puts his fucking hand in the deep fryer, and he goes, "Now I've assaulted him," which is.
I really wanted like one of the people working in the kitchen in the background to be like, "Oh man, the tater tots!" Like,
well, they do. They're gonna have to clean that whole thing out. Yeah. They're gonna have to dump all that oil.
Yeah. What if anything? Yeah, that's the end of that vat. Like, okay, we can't use this one because a guy's hand was in there.
I mean, you can clean it, but like they're gonna have to.
That's it for the night. You gotta turn it off. You gotta wait for it to cool down. You gotta drain it and clean it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. So now we see just how rotten these cops are. Like we knew that they were.
I thought Powell, based on the episode when Fisk forms the task force, there's a shot in there where Fisk is like, use whatever force necessary, blah, blah, blah. And it cuts to Powell and he looks uncomfortable. And I thought his storyline was going to be that he would come around and be like, oh, this is wrong, what we're doing. But with this, I don't think that's the case.
I don't believe that can happen. No. Yeah, I don't believe that can happen. Yeah, no, he's just a bad guy. Yeah. He's just straight up bad guy. So Gandolfini's talking to BB, and he's kind of maybe like starting to ramble and like talk too much about himself. So she's like, oh, I got to go pee. And so she bumps into Gallo. And they had this conversation about like, so I looked it up. Every single guy in Fisk Task Force is a bad apple. That's why it's called the Bad Apple Squad. And she's like, and then so he's like, did you know that Fisk was the prime suspect in your uncle's murder? And she's like, yes, of course I fucking did. Which I actually liked. I liked that she was
like that a lot because that was one of the things I had questions about in the start of the season. Mm-hmm. Was that she seems to be cozying up to Fisk when Fisk was believed to Fisk was one of the people they thought might have killed her uncle. I mean, and her saying that is like, okay, so you know what you're doing. Like,
yeah, she's a good journalist. I mean, like the thing is she's going to put the personal aside so that she can get close. And also she seems quite interested in bringing Fisk down anyway.
Yeah, that's her goal. Well, she says, not everything I write is under my name.
Right.
Right. Which is,
she also writes fanfic.
She slash fic, actually. She writes slash fic about Daniel and Fisk. Yeah. Daniel, I'm stuck in this washing machine. Yeah, but no, but that's the third thing in this episode. Is like, oh, I wish there was like a bit more of a build up to that concept. Like, bring up something of like, there's somebody who seems to know a lot that's going on in here and is leaking stuff online or whatever.
Yeah, that actually is interesting because like that is meaningless to us that she writes under different names. It's just meaningless. So
unless she's trying to make it look like her site has more than one writer. Is that what she's trying to claim?
Maybe. I mean, my suspicion is that she writes somewhere else under a assumed name. And you're right that she maybe prints stuff that she can't print under her own name because either it's dangerous or she can't quite get it confirmed. And so as a good journalist, she won't run that, but under a different name, she doesn't have to be a good journalist.
Yeah.
But you're right. That should have been established like earlier in the season. And that wouldn't take a ton to establish either.
No.
Would not take a ton. So, as this is happening, Matt fucking has a brainwave, and he's like, "Wait a second, you are the counselor to the Fisks." And she's like, even if I was, I couldn't tell you. And he kind of keeps pressing the point. And they, uh, Fisk and Vanessa are dancing. They're doing like the opening dance. And so Matt
Well,
grabs her.
he says to her, he says to Heather, they're using you to get to me.
Mhm.
But if I remember correctly, they go to her before Matt meets her. And I
No,
don't think that's a mistake in the show.
no, I believe she had met him before the book signing.
Okay. Okay.
Is I believe, I think. But this is another case of Matt like just not offering enough information, because if
Yeah.
somebody's like, they're using you to get to me, that sounds insane.
Yeah.
And we know it's potentially true, but she doesn't. And he
No.
has never once said on screen, I was his legal nemesis. Like,
Yeah.
he would like to crush me. By the way, this whole season has had so many Trump parallels. But like the idea that like Fisk is just a fucking like petty bitch about people who crossed him is another Trump parallel. Like, he
Yeah.
will fuck anybody over because he doesn't get the respect that he wants. So that was good. So they go
It's the
dance.
kind of thing that makes me wish that Stanley was still alive so he could be like, yeah, I based him on Trump. And somebody would have to be like, how? Donald Trump was like 12 when you created him. What are you talking about?
And so Matt's going to go talk to Fisk. He's going to go confront Fisk, and he goes over to where Fisk and Vanessa are dancing. And then Kingpin, he's like, "Can I cut in on this dance?" And he takes Vanessa off. And
Well,
Kingpin,
first he's dancing with Heather, and Kingpin does my favorite kind of thing that you can do with superheroes with superhearing, where Kingpin starts whispering
yes,
just to him. I
yes,
love
it
that.
was
I
really
love
great.
that.
Yeah, it was really, really great.
Yeah,
That was really,
I
really
was like,
excellent.
oh, I love it.
Anyway, Buck gets a phone call and is told that Bullseye has escaped. And but we see that he's already in the party.
Yeah.
He has his cop uniform, and he has a rifle. I like that we
No,
don't
he does not
know.
have a rifle.
Oh, he needs to get it. He kills a guy and gets it.
Yeah, because they show him walking through the kitchen and he picks up
Oh, right.
like a stabby thing. Like tongs or whatever. I don't know what they're called.
So as they change partners, and Matt is like trying to grill Vanessa, and
Well, he realizes that Wilson didn't do anything with Foggy. That
right,
she did it. He puts
right,
together, he's like, oh my God, he was gone during that time.
right.
And he figures out, because while Fisk is whispering to him, Vanessa says to Wilson, she goes, there's something I need to tell you. And he's like, don't talk here. Which I liked.
So she's like, yeah, more or less. She more or less is like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, it was me.
Well, he's
And
like, you had him killed, didn't you? And Wilson doesn't even know about it. And she's like, does Heather know you're Daredevil?
yeah,
And she pulls his bow tie, which I like.
yeah.
She's like,
And so at that moment, Matt hears a gun being loaded, and he knows something is really bad. And we see Bullseye. He's like in a balcony, and he's like aiming. He was aiming. We think he might be aiming at Vanessa, because we also believe that she hired Bullseye to kill Foggy at this point. And that does seem correct, right? So
yeah.
it seems like he's going to kill Vanessa because she had hired him and got him in this trouble. But actually, he moves his scope over to Fisk, and he shoots, and Matt jumps in front of the bullet and takes a bullet for Wilson Fisk, and lies on the ground bleeding, and his heart slows and finally stops. And then that's the end of the episode.
It is.
But in these scenes, by the way, it's worth noting, when Bullseye is up on the balcony, all the lighting turns blue.
Yeah.
And then when Matt's on the floor, all the lighting turns red. And those are their colors in the comics.
And also when he kills the guys in the infirmary, it turns blue.
Yeah.
And in the opening of the episode, he's looking out his cell window at a inmate who's like taking care of blue roses.
Yeah. That was a really good shot, by the way.
Yes, it
I
was.
did not mention that. That's a really good shot.
That
It's
shot and the first shot through the party where it's all one long shot
mhm.
and we're
And
picking
people
up
are
on
moving
different
in and out of their
conversations. Yeah.
conversations. Yeah, no, it's really good. They did a really great job. Last week I was a little bit concerned about how this was going to play out. Now that it was all different
Yeah.
team, but I think that they kept the tone the way that it was, and I think everything feels more or less uh, continuous. I don't feel like this is like a sudden change. Obviously, the lighting stuff's a big change.
Yeah.
Usually on a TV show, you don't make big visual changes. Uh, the
I thought it was a little jarring. It was a little odd.
Yeah, but I loved it, and I hope that they keep it going moving forward. Because one of the things that the show is that we always talk about, like, there's not like it's not colorful. He's wearing like a really dark suit. He's gonna need a black suit next season,
Yeah.
and those moments create more color in the show. And I
The
love
red at the end I liked when he's laying on the ground and everything turns red. I like that. The blue, it doesn't last long enough. It's like blue and then out, right? And I was
it.
like, why not keep it for a bit? Like hold on it for a bit or something. I don't know. I thought it was a little odd.
What did you think of this episode?
It's good. It's good. Again, Benson Moore really very talented filmmakers, without a doubt. Um, like I said, the blue seemed off to me. The red I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit at the party when Matt and Heather are talking and about like you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be like Fisk's therapist or whatever. And you can't trust him. And then he's like, "Look, I'll prove it to you. Let's go talk to him." And he starts walking towards Kingpin, and uh, there's never a shot to show the layout of the space in any
Right.
way. So it's hard to tell. Like everyone keeps like Vanessa looks and sees him walking. Kingpin sees him walking. Heather's trying to like keep up with him, and he's bumping into people, but there's no sense of how close he's getting to him,
Right.
and that felt weird to me. But like story wise, and aside from that, yeah, it's a good episode. It's well done.
Yeah, I liked
I
it a
was shocked
bunch.
by the Adam bit ending. I didn't. I don't know. I didn't expect that.
I did not expect that at all, and I think that's really great. And they
Yeah.
did obviously establish it with the bullseye line earlier, and also this episode, Matt has been like maybe drifting back to Netflix, Matt, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Which he
fact that
made Jerry discuss. Yeah.
but the fact that he takes this bullet for his worst enemy, I think that's a thing that White Tiger would do, and I think that he is doing heroism, like in a
Yes.
way that he was maybe not doing as much on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's like great. Like I was so excited when that happened, and also
Oh, that was great.
I can't believe they killed him off with one episode left in the season, and they have a season 2. It's crazy.
I guess in the comics he died and Elektra became Daredevil. Maybe they're gonna do that. She'll pop in.
No, he's alive. But I really, yeah, that was, I thought, really, really great. So I'm like big plus on this episode. There's stuff that we talked about didn't work or is like a little jarring or whatever.
The things that did not work in this episode are things that, like we've discussed multiple times, that they did a lot of. They Frankenstein the previous episodes, and there's things in this that's like, oh, too bad you weren't able to work this in earlier,
Right?
Stuff like that, and that's a little rough, but what are you gonna do? It's not, it doesn't like. It's not like they're like, here we are in episode 8, and then Matt's like, by the way, I'm immortal, and you're like, what? What's going on? Like it's things that are like, oh, it would have been nice to see a little bit of a build up to this, but it's not the end of the like. It doesn't hurt the show that there's not build up to it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the fact that this show has been as good as it has been all season is incredible considering the circumstances under which it was made.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like, there's obviously stuff that does or doesn't work, and there's stuff that's a little bit like, oh, this is obviously a reshoot or whatever. But like story-wise, the story works. It flows. I like that we did not have just like one villain the whole season.
Yeah.
I know some people were mad about Muse getting taken out, but like
I liked it.
I liked it, and like nobody promised you Muse was going to be the villain the whole season.
What I really liked about it was he got taken out, and I thought he would be the season finale, and so I was like, I don't know I have no clue what's going to be happening.
It's going to be the
I
cops.
did not expect that. So I was excited by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, the season's been pretty strong so far.
I think that Matt is going to definitely get his identity revealed next episode.
You think so?
I'm almost positive. I think the way that this is going, like the direction it's been going, seems like it's impossible that it wouldn't. I mean, and that's also just like from the season trailer where we see Matt and Punisher fighting in Matt's apartment.
Yeah.
So fighting the cops. So obviously the cops have come for him. And I do believe that one of the ways that Fisk can destroy Daredevil is to destroy Matt Murdock. That there's no,
Oh, sure.
Daredevil, Matt Murdock is Daredevil. And, so losing his secret identity will be a big deal. So, yeah, I like this episode a bunch.
The tech guy that they're talking to, the one where he's like, go with Grace, like the guy's going to lie in the stand, we shouldn't deal with him.
Right.
Do you think that guy had a bigger storyline originally?
No, I think that guy shows up just so we can see Matt had that reaction. I think that he's there to springboard.
Because that's been set up through other episodes.
Yeah, they've been talking about that case, but I don't think that was ever going to be important. I think that they just they do a pretty good job of weaving things in, and that was almost. I'm guessing it was a lot of that was reshoots. I don't know, but they do a really good job of weaving things in, and I think that scene existed because Matt needed to springboard into his very deeply cynical thing. Because I think what we're watching this episode is after Matt returned to Daredevil in a heroic way, he is once again, his mental health remains not good. And he is sliding down until the end of the episode where he does a very heroic sacrificial thing. I think that was why. That was the arc of the episode. Matt goes down and then at the end comes back up. So, I mean, I'm sure he's still not fucking happy, but
sure. He's Daredevil. He's never happy.
Also, he's got a bullet in his shoulder. That too. Yeah. It didn't go through him. It didn't hit Fisk. So it's still in his body. It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I guess he'll probably heal up in 2 minutes.
I'm going to guess that it's going to heal pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that they're not going to keep him crippled, his arm crippled so that he can't fight. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll have him fighting one-handed, which would be kind of cool.
No, it must have gone through him. It had to have.
I know, because there's blood all over
Fisk.
But I guess maybe he ate up so much of the velocity.
Yeah.
And Fisk's big rock hard fat guy body, maybe it just couldn't. Maybe he's got a hole in his jacket now.
I mean, he might have body armor on underneath or something.
Well, that's a good point. He's doing an Elon Musk wearing body armor. Yeah. You're right.
I will say, based solely on this season, because I did not see the Bullseye stuff from the previous series. Bullseye needs a different name, because right now he's 1 for 3 on hitting his target. Right? He got Foggy, missed Karen, shot everyone around Karen, totally missed her, and here he misses Fisk. So,
well, we don't know he was trying to kill Karen.
He definitely was. He definitely was.
You think so?
I do. I think if you go back and watch that episode, he's aiming at her, he shoots, and somebody steps in front of her and gets shot. And it's like, he was trying to kill Karen too.
Yeah, okay. But maybe she wasn't the target. Maybe he's just fucking opening fire.
I think it was supposed to be both of them. I think
it's 8 cops. I mean, he just goes nuts on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So. But that's what I'm saying is, I mean, he's 1 for 3. That's not very good for a guy called Bullseye.
Yeah.
Unless the joke is he's really bad at it and everybody calls him Bullseye.
This is the problem with villains who have expertise.
Yeah.
They have to always get beat. They always have to not be able to kill the person they're trying to kill or whatever. And so you often will see the villain only able to take out no-name characters or whatever. And then when it comes to actually dealing with somebody that we've heard of before, most of the time they will not be able
that's always my favorite thing about Deathstroke, the Terminator from DC rather, is they're always like, he's the world's greatest fighter and killer. It's like he fights a bunch of teenagers and gets beat up all the time. He's not that great. He's pretty bad at this, actually.
He's not great. He is not great. Well, we'll be back again next week with the finale of season 1. I'm kind of really excited, and I can't believe that I've liked the Daredevil this much.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
I've really enjoyed Daredevil.
It's pretty weird.
It keeps making me think, well, what if I went back and rewatched? Would I find it better? But I don't think
No,
that the show had the support to be better. I think that
no,
it's all scenes of people talking because there's no budget of any
yeah,
kind. And the writing was bad because people just keep repeating shit over and over and over again because it's Netflix. So everybody has to repeat things 3 times because they know you're not paying attention.
yeah,
So this is made like a TV show.
yeah. No, this
So
is really well done, and I think I think Charlie Cox has been really good in this season.
really good. Yeah.
What I've seen of the Netflix show, I was not very big on him. I think he's really good in this. I love Cherry. Cherry's great. I love Daniel. Daniel's the best character in the show.
He's
in my
so
opinion.
good. He's so good.
But,
I like BB. I know that you had a big problem with BB at the beginning, but I like BB.
But I like BB. Like the actor does a very good job. It was never anything about the actor. I was just like, oh, this guy killed her uncle. It's kind of messed up. But this episode confronts that straight on.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, she knows, and she's trying to bring him down. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Because at first it seemed like she was just trying to get like scoops and power, right? Like, I want my name out there. But now it's clear, like, oh no, she's trying to take him down, through investigative journalism. I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's cool to me. I would still like somewhere in these 8 episodes thus far, for somebody to be like, hey man, Mr. Mayor, you had a huge shootout on a bridge that everyone saw. It was like on the news where you killed a bunch of cops and stuff. Should we discuss that at some point? like, I'm waiting on that kind of stuff to happen. But
yeah, I mean,
I think they're just not
obviously,
going to bring that up.
no, they're not. And obviously, it's the Donald Trump. I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd
Yeah.
still vote for me. I mean, that's obviously what is partially happening here. But also, we don't know if the blip had anything to do with it.
Huh?
The blip.
What about the blip?
Well, like, did people disappear and couldn't testify against him, and so he got off?
No, but I mean, this isn't the first season of the Netflix show on Daredevil. He has a huge gunfight on the bridge.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious if he showed up in Hawkeye and he was just there, and I'm curious if the blip had anything to do with him not serving any kind of significant jail.
He goes to prison in the Netflix series.
I know.
I don't know how I don't know how he got out.
That's what I'm saying. Did the blip somehow, did they clear the prisons out? You know what I mean? Like, because half the people on Earth disappeared, and it was like, we can't staff this anymore. Or, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have said this before. The blip is the moment that the MCU stumbled.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's 100%. It was the moment where the MCU stumbled.
Yeah.
Now, I do like that the blip came before COVID, and I think reflected COVID.
Sure.
In that, the world got really fucked up, and then everybody just pretended like it never happened.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's so funny is that when at first I was like, how has this not totally changed everything? And I'm like, oh, you know what? Now I do know because I've lived through it, and we had this enormous fucking thing, and
that's exactly what we do. Yeah.
Nobody's nobody cares about it anymore, and so I was
we turn against the people who tried to fix it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fair on you guys. So anyway, we'll be back again next week. Until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you be well. But most of all, may you remain a true believer.